Welcome to the Quarterback Sports Bar and Grill. I'm Joe the Swiss Tilley.
I'm Billy the Greek.
It's time for the Tilley and Billy Show, and yes, we are live at the Quarterback at Warden Avenue in Scarborough, just north of Eglinton. 14,000 square feet of fun, pro standard playing equipment, great food. Book your party today, 416-757-2265, or go to thequarterbank.ca. Very good spot here. Beautiful pool. Somebody's asking, by the way, when we were just live on Facebook, which pool hall is it? Well, it's Quarterback Sports Bar and Grill. Where else would we be on a Monday morning? And first out of the gate, Billy, we're going to talk about the Maple Leafs. So we're going to talk about a little bit about the All-Star game, a little bit about the Maple Leafs. But first of all, I want to tell you about a little story. I've just got back from vacation, and I want to thank Claude Fig for filling in for me last weekend.
I did a good job.
Yeah, Claude's good. He's all right. You know, he's been around the block a couple of times.
It wasn't his first rodeo, man. He barely let me get a word in last week. Don't worry, Claude. We'll get you back one day.
We'll get you back when Billy's off.
Yeah. Holy shit! I might never get to sit here again. You put you two dinosaurs together. Holy jeez, none of that.
Okay, so anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about the All-Star game, a little bit about the Leafs. But okay, so I was on vacation doing a little cruise through the Caribbean. The last stop was the Bahamas. So in Nassau, in the Bahamas, there's this big establishment called Atlantis. Okay, in the Bahamas, and it just happened to be All-Star weekend. And a lot, and out of the 680 or 700 players in the NHL,
and most of them don't.
Don't go to the All-Star game, right? Most of them go to other places. And a lot of them, it turns out, go to the Bahamas because I saw a number of NHL players there. So anyway, I'm sitting down at this automatic roulette wheel. It's just a cheap thing. You can bet 50 cents at a time, and
you're just taking it easy.
Taking it easy. I'm taking it easy because it was crappy weather. We were inside the casino in Atlantis. So with my wife, Mike Pennyclair, lovely wife Pennyclair, my brother Ron, and his wife Pat. Anyway, we were having a great time. And I'm sitting at this roulette, and I look over, and there's this guy sitting there, and I'm thinking, he looks like a hockey player. Not really. He looks slightly familiar. And he said to me, he said, I was wearing the Leafs hat. And he said, you from Toronto? I said, yeah. And he said, where are you from? He said, I'm from Manitoba, but I'm living in Carolina now. I said, oh, you're playing hockey. He says, yeah. He says, he's Michael Furland. All right. And Michael Furland from the Carolina Hurricanes. And we just got to chat and having a nice little chat. And he just happened to mention that.
Did you tell him who you were?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. And we just happened to mention that he'd heard some trade rumors that involved him and Toronto. So how's this? Like he's telling me that perhaps he's a UFA at the end of the season, so he would be coming here as a rental, and he said he'd be totally okay with that. The rumor that he heard was that possibly Furland and possibly Pesce or Dougie Hamilton, both right-handed shooting defensemen, coming over to Toronto for Kasperi Kapanen. That was a rumor that we talked about. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, Bill.
Really? Can we? Was there a possibility that maybe we can throw Nylander in there too? Huh? Make that a go?
Yeah, I got some thoughts on Nylander. Number one, he is going to be okay, and you saw the last game he played on the third line, getting 3 assists. Okay, Nylander's going to be okay, but anyways, it's something to think about, right? It's something to think about because, in Kapanen and Nylander, perhaps you have a similar kind of player, and they do. If you want a little bit of grit, Google. There's a fight between Furland and Eric.
Okay.
You want to see a little bit of great Steve Furland in that scrap with Johnson, and he doesn't mind using the body.
We've been calling for grit for the last couple months on this show, right? So,
I mean, anyway, it's an interesting interesting deal. At this point, it was like Furland was rumored, but it's interesting that it's rumored that he had heard.
So in other words, you're going on vacation and still doing a little bit of investigative reporting for the show,
stops,
right?
Billy.
Never stops.
Tilley and Billy show is 24 hours.
You got a tough life, down there. All right, so you got a nice tag going too, Had a good time?
Pretty good, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any other stories you care to share?
No, that's it.
No, you don't want to risk any of the sponsorship deals, All right, okay, all right. What do we got going? Come on, what's on the menu?
So anyway, just a couple thoughts on the All-Star game because it was the All-Star break. Sid Crosby, fantastic. Shows he's obviously still got it.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews, when he pulled that jersey off.
Nice gesture.
Nice gesture, absolutely. Awesome gesture, putting when he had Marlowe's jersey underneath.
Matthews is no dummy too.
Yeah.
He knows how to. He knows not only how to handle himself on the ice, but he knows how to handle himself off the ice.
Speaking of rumors, Matthews, there's a buzz out there that they might be closing in on a deal between Matthews and the Leafs. At least it could be announced like well before they straight that one.
Well, again, the rumors again circulating are somewhere in the 5 to 6 year range, by 2 years off his UFA, right? And again, time will tell. The main thing right now is what we do with the current roster as constructed, and then how the Leafs move forward. They came off a nice win in Colorado, but again, the Leafs have no trouble playing when there's ice to play, right? There was more ice to play in a Colorado game than you'd find at City Hall at 5 in the morning if you want to skate around, right? There was ice to play, and when there's ice to play, when there's ice to play, and the game's not played in the phone booth, Leafs are okay, right? So again, well, what does that say? What does that show? I don't know. A win in January against a club. Sorry, did I say Colorado? Against Washington, that was giving up a touchdown a game before that. So it was the perfect.
But they were in a bit of slumps.
It was the perfect timing.
Yeah.
But let's be true. That Washington team was coming in limpy. They gave 7 goals the night before to San Jose, 6 the game before that. So that was not the juggernaut Washington Capitals or a defensive team that would really put the pressure on.
The Leafs needed that win.
Absolutely, it was the perfect timing.
A win is good. A win is always good. A win is a win is a win.
They came in at the right time, absolutely. And your boy got 3 assists. So for one night at least the heat's off. Again, we'll see how that evolves.
Well, we got to remember, okay, this guy missed half a season. All right, he missed half a season.
Yeah, hold on.
Whoa, you take any player, and you miss a half a season, and you get dropped off in the middle of the season. First of all, everybody, there are other players on this team. The other players in the NHL, they've been playing for 35, 40 games.
He missed a half a season, but here's what works against him. Yes, he missed a half a season, and I agree with you. Your point is valid. But he missed a half a season because he sat out. He didn't miss a half a season because he was hurt, or he missed a half a season because he wanted to get.
If you're gonna complain about his how he's playing, his abilities and how he's playing, then you have to take that in consideration, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, sure, he sat out. So what, does he get punished for the rest of his life and he shouldn't be allowed to play?
No.
The guy has a chance to build himself back into shape, and that's what he's doing.
Okay, yeah. Again, that's what he's doing. But from where I sit, whether Nylander turns out to be who you think, or who I think, like obviously you know how I feel about him. I feel a little bit different than you.
We'll see,
right?
Yeah,
we'll see. Time will tell. But really, even if he turns out to be, and again, what's ceiling here? Really, would you say 30 goals, a point a game guy maybe score 30 goals down the road, right? Which would be difficult for a guy that's always behind and then never goes in the slot to find 30.
We'll see.
But besides the point, whether he's that 80 point a guy, point a player guy, or he's who I think he is, a prima donna floater that plays a finesse game that's a dime a dozen as an NHL winger, is irrelevant. It's really irrelevant because at $6.9 million, that money spent. His talents, his skill set would best be served to fill in some of the holes where the Leaf roster is vulnerable and weak on the back end. We need a back end bona fide player, much more than we ever needed Nylander. Not only that, but the Nylander signing, which again, I'm not against Nylander for the last 20 games. I was against Nylander last year and the year before. I think I see who he's going to be, and I look at him as who he is today. He's a dime a dozen player, in my opinion.
He's better than that, and the brain trust at the Maple Leafs decided that he's worth $6.9 million a season, and only time is going to tell.
Only time.
We can't.
Yeah, but our job, Joe, is not to tell you what happened yesterday.
Right.
Anybody can tell you what happened yesterday. Right? Our job is to tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. And I'll tell you.
You think he's going to be a crappy player? I think he's going to be a good player.
But even if
time's going to tell.
Even if he's a decent player, moving forward, that $6.9 million is best served to get a stud defenseman. Like I said, a second line winger. You can find the second.
So what you're saying, they should have let him walk?
Not should have let him walk. Number one, the dubious one, little Kyle. Right. Yeah. Set the precedent by paying this guy. He held the Leaf roster hostage for a couple months. He wanted to get paid. At this point, 90, and he considered it a discount. He said, I was asking 8.5. Well, okay, right? So, not only you set a precedent, you tell Marner and Matthews that if you stick to your guns, you can get paid what you want. So if he's $6.9 million,
well, okay,
The point of the matter.
The different players, all three different players.
All three different players, but the point of the matter in the hierarchy of the Leafs, Nylander is always going to be at the bottom of the barrel in terms of those guys. The only way Nylander ever becomes a valuable commodity and an asset for the Leafs is if somehow Babcock turns him into a bona fide, maybe point a game second line center. Then you got something. But it's a second line winger at $6.9 million with a suspect defense. He's completely worthless. You turn him into center, and the Leafs have made this. The Leafs have attempted at previous points. Babcock's tried to turn it to no avail. But if you can turn him into a center, not only does that 6.9 look different, but you also have, despite the fact that Dubas gave his word that he's not trading, which is another mistake, by the way. But if you turn him into a second line center, then he's got cachet, then he's got value. Then down the road, if he establishes the kind of guy you think he is, at a point-a-game player, then all of a sudden you can sell him to the rest of the league as a frontline center to some team, right? So,
well, you know, first of all, I think Masai Ujiri already set the bar here. If you tell the player he's not going to be traded, be traded. There's no not trade clause there. It's just if a deal comes along, you take the deal. But we're going to go back to we're going to play Billy Babcock. You're going to be the coach here for a second. We're talking about. Nylander, so going to lead into something here. Yeah. Tell us what your thoughts.
Oh, I'm trying to think without any additions to the Leaf roster. Just with what we have, how do we best deploy the top 9 forwards on this Leaf team? And I think Babcock's got one hand to play that he hasn't played yet, and that's going the route of Julian in Boston, and that's loading up the top line with Matthews, Marner, and Tavares. You play them on the top line. Not only would that be the best line the NHL's seen in the last, 20 years. It's not
it would be awesome.
You can bring Dougie Jarvis and the Habs out of retirement. They can't shut down that line. Number one, that'd be the best line since that'd be the best line since Lou Jagger and whoever else played, Recchi, whoever else played on the Penguins back then. Unstoppable. So what you do at that point in time, the only way
Gretzky, Curry, and whoever.
The only unstoppable, really, be the best line that the Leafs have ever had in their history, without a doubt, right? But the only way that works is the only way that ever works is if Babcock also commits to a third line that includes Kadri, Brown, and Hyman as complete checkers. So your top 3 set, your checking line set, and this is again all contingent on turning William Nylander the second line center and playing him between Janssen and Kapanen. Swedes, some kind of nicknames waiting for him there. You put that roster together in those kind of ways.
The European dialogue.
And not only this, but Leafs Nation is continuously complaining on this platform and many others about the lack of playing time for Matthews, Marner, and Tavares, right? The only way you can alleviate the lack of playing time is to play them together and play them 22 to 25 minutes a game. Keep running them out there. Keep running them out there for the last 40 games of the year, right? And at that point,
who plays center in that line? Tavares, Matthews.
That's you know what? Johnny T. Number one, Johnny T's a pro. Johnny T can easily adapt to the left wing. Either way, and I'm sure Marner's can. And you can imagine. I get goosebumps. Imagine those 3 guys who are very close, competing against one another and playing on the same line. For 25 minutes a game, right?
I know. You know, it intrigues me. I really like the idea, to be honest with you. And I've always liked go power, go power. And that European line, that Scandinavian screamers. Because you got Janssen and Kapanen and Nylander, 3 guys who can fly.
The question is at them because Babcock's tried this before, right? The question is, can Nylander raise the level of his game, play a 2-way game, be a point-a-game player on the second line, centering those 2 young kids, take the defensive responsibilities, raise the level of his game to closely mirror the $6.9 million that he makes. Let me tell you about Willie, getting back to him, right? You spoke, I caught one of your rants about the booing, right?
Kids.
All right, so I was thinking about it actually, and kind of because here's what I was thinking while you were talking about the booing. You know when the Greek takes off his flamboyant shirt Monday afternoons, right? And Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning and Thursday, I'm not wearing no flamboyant shirts. I'm out there working a regular job, just like the majority of the people watching here. I'm just a working stiff trying to pay bills. So you're asking me now, Joe, you're asking me to work 3, maybe I don't get paid too good either. You're asking me to work 4 days so I can take I don't know, maybe I'll call my kid's mom and Christina, I love you, kid, and I'll invite them out to a hockey game.
Right.
I'll pay $500, for the seats, the popcorns, and this, right? And you want me to pay $500, working like a dog, to go watch this guy that's played 20 games and be invisible for 20 games?
Right.
And what do you want me to do? Hey, great job, Clyde. No, it doesn't happen that way. First of all, if William Nylander wants to show any heart and wants to gain the compassion of skeptics and doubters like myself, forget about hockey, Willie. You played 20 games and you stole that money. You stole that money. So you know what, Willie? Why don't you come out, take some accountability, and that $2.5 million you stole, donate it to a charity, my friend. Come out and say, you know what? I haven't earned a penny. I'm going to donate this to this charity. Or you know what? If that's not good, 2.5 is a lot. I know you got to pay to get your hair done, salons, those kind of things, right? If 2.5 million's too much, at least stand outside the ACC or the hangar, whatever they call it, with a roll of $100 bills. Every fan that's going home that day with the look on their face, where's Willie? Where's Willie? What's he doing? Hand him a $100 bill, man. If you want the fans to love you, you know what?
Okay. All right. So first of all, it wasn't just Willie. It was Jake Gardner.
Jake's a little, okay.
No, and the thing with Jake is Jake tries. Jake plays hard. No. There's no mistake in that at all. And you know, Willie, by holding out hostage, he sort of did author his
set
own
himself
demise
up.
in that. He set himself up for that. But still, how does like as a fan going down to the Scotiabank Arena?
Okay.
How does
no sponsors. We don't care. Whatever.
How does it help support my team by going down to Scotiabank Arena and riding a guy like Jake Gardner? You saw what happened to Larry Murphy. Larry Murphy was a shell of a man by the time he left this town because
he went on to win 2 cups.
Yeah, he went on to win 2 cups with Detroit. So I mean, the thing is, that's what you're doing to Jake Gardner. You're not upping his trade value. You're not doing anything. You're shrinking this man,
and he doesn't deserve.
Taking his confidence away, and he doesn't deserve it. He's made mistakes like every single hockey player on the ice has made mistakes, makes them continuously. Yeah. Sure, he made that at some inopportune times.
People still haven't forgot Game 7, eh?
You know what? You got to let that go.
Yeah,
you got to give the guys some slack. He's there. He's playing hard. He's working hard. It was more Jake Gardner than Willie Nylander because there's that other component. Willie did hold the team hostage, right, until he got his dough. Still,
Jake's a company.
If you want Bill William Nylander to be the best player he can be, he does need support. Boos do not help a player's ego. I've never seen a player that's bounced back from "thank you for the boos, folks." That really helped me a lot.
You ever seen a player that held out for 6.9 come back and say, "I haven't earned my money here, take it back"?
Well, you know what? Look at. You can do things like that. You can give to charity. Look what PK Subban did
Absolutely.
in Montreal.
Absolutely.
What, he give $10 million? I mean, you know.
Absolutely. Again.
And they still ran him out of time. It's stupidest, one of the stupidest things ever.
Again, Jake's a company guy. Jake plays hard, but even if you watch the interviews after the game, after the last game he played, the poor guy wanted to cry for him. He just had this look on his face like it was bothering him. He's the kind of kid that just by his physical appearance and his impressions, you can assume is a sensitive kid. Right, and is kind of not handling that well. And again, you can even see when Jake has the puck, he handles the puck much differently at home as he does opposed to the road. His confidence is shot.
So booing him does not help. I mean, the guy, honestly, you need support. By the way, this segment has been brought to you by the Taxperts Group. All tax issues, 416-493-0444. If you need help with personal and corporate tax filings, if you're being reviewed through the Canada Revenue Agency Audit and Appeal Divisions, Taxperts Group is the best firm in Toronto. 2 lawyers, 3 CPAs. Call the Taxperts at 416-493-0444 or visit the website at taxpertsgroup.ca. Okay, lots to talk about in Hockeyville. We could go on forever and ever, but we should switch gears a little bit to the Raptors. Okay, big win over Dallas. A really good game against Houston. What a great game. Came back from way down against the Rockets. Held Harden to 33 points, which is doing something this day and age. But you know, and they had the ball in Kawhi Leonard's. They had the ball in Kawhi Leonard's hands with 15 seconds left, and I'm thinking, does he go for the tie? Does he go for the win? He opted to go for the win, and you know what? It was a bit of a mistake. But you know, I just love the way this Raptors team is playing right now.
The Raptors team, moving forward. The one issue with the club is how they play their half-court offense within the last 4 minutes of the game, when the ability to run up and down is taken away, possession for possession, and how they score and how they find each other in the last 3 minutes. what Kawhi looked like at that point in time is in essence what we were complaining about, especially for the Houston game, the last possession, right? Is what we were complaining about DeRozan. ISO ball, top of the key, down 2, right? That's what a lot of Raptor fans were complaining with DeRozan's tenure here. It kind of looked eerily similar, right?
Right.
So what they got to figure out as a collective is how to handle the last 4 minutes of.
Well, that'd be nice to be up 10.
Yeah, the last 4 minutes, but you move forward. You move forward. The Eastern Conference is a competition. It's going to be a 4-team tournament now that Oladipo's out for Indiana. I didn't believe in Indiana in the first place. You're looking at Sixers, Bucks, Raptors, and Celtics. It's going to be a 4-team tournament to get to the NBA Finals, and between those 4 teams, it's going to come down to about 10, 12, 15 possessions in the fourth quarter of either game 3, 5, 6 to determine which of the two. They're that evenly matched. When the Raptors play the Celtics, especially in Boston, you see game comes down to 4 possessions in the last 2 minutes to decide the game. So how handles those last 4 minutes, how we run our offense within those last 4 minutes, how we execute will determine whether or not this Raptor team goes to the NBA Finals. And they got just as good a shot as any of the 3. As a matter of fact, I'd have them, depending on who gets home court. Home court's in the NBA is like gold, right? Moving forward, it wasn't gold last year again, but with this club evenly matched, Raptors got as good shot as any of the 3. I'd put them a step ahead of the Sixers and on par with the Celtics and Bucks.
Yeah, and you know what? I think there's talk about adding a piece or 2, but you know what? I just the chemistry of this team. I like what they're doing. They have shown the ability to really move the ball around, particularly when Kawhi Leonard was injured. Yeah. I don't think they have to have this idea that they absolutely have to get the rock to
No, absolutely, and that's a lot of the success or failure on the Raptors predicated on the performances of Kyle Lowry. If you look at Raptor wins, Kyle Lowry's a different player than the 11-12 losses, right? So again, sometimes everybody, you, me, and your sister, and your cousin over there focus on Kawhi when the shot clock's running down. So. How are you gonna get a secondary scorer? Is Lowry the guy? Siakam the guy, or is the guy in a different organization, right? Yeah. And again, those are decisions to be made once again. These guys have been together. Kawhi and Lowry and the gang been together for 45 games. It's still too early to draw conclusions on whether or not they have enough internally to win an NBA championship. Again, that the jury's still out on that, but they're in the race. They're definitely in with a shot.
And remember. Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah, without a
very much that piece.
Very much
missed. He was playing before he got hurt, and that's
best ball of his career.
A scary team.
Yeah, it's the best ball of his career.
The only thing that scares me in the East at all is the other Greek freak.
Yeah, the real one.
The other. No, you're the real one. I thought you were the other Greek freak. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Holy jeez, just call him the Greek freak.
Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo. Yeah. Okay, this segment is brought to you by Aldo. At Remax Crossroads, call 416-GET-ALDO for all your real estate needs. Call Aldo today. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, call
GetAldo.com.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a good team too. Hey, it's not only Aldo. He's got a good roster.
He's got a good roster.
Yeah, take care of you.
Works Toronto well. Yeah. Okay, so before we stop talking about the.
Of course, you want to plug
the Raptors. Let's talk about the big contest. There we go. Yes.
Hey, this
it's the return of DeMar DeRozan, February 22nd at Scotiabank Arena. We're going to have the draw live here at the Cornerbank Sports Bar and Grill on Saturday, February 16th, and we're going to give away 2 tickets to see DeMar. And tell us about the tickets and where they're going to be there. 20 rows up or something like that behind the bench.
They're looking to if you got a good beak, you can smell the sweat, right? Yeah. Probably 20 rows up behind the Spurs bench, and tickets to be drawn live on February 16th at Cornerbank, 6 p.m. Live podcast that day. So again, you see what's going on in here. So all you got to do is catch the secret word. I don't know if we're going to deliver it today, tomorrow, maybe in a week, and we'll keep them going. Or it's pretty out there, the secret word.
The secret word is right here. It is Greek.
Yeah.
That's a secret word.
2 E's.
So you have to watch a podcast. You put the secret word on your ballot, and then.
So what do you do with that secret word? You come in the secret word. You come over here. You shoot a game of pool. Even if you don't shoot a game of pool, just come in here, drop a ballot. Don't worry, we'll take care of Jimmy and the boys. Drop a ballot. Be here on the 16th, and if you happen to be here live in the draw on the 16th, as mentioned earlier, because again, the Greek, as suggested is a man of the people who's going to pull out $300 from his pocket, and the lucky winner of this contest is going to pay for parking, hot dogs, cold ones, you name it. Maybe a little nightcap after around 12:30, depending on how you and whoever you decide to catch the game with want to end the evening, right?
That's provided, of course.
You're here. You're here, right?
Okay, so that's coming up. All right, on February 16th, don't want to miss that, and then so keep watching the Tilley and Billy show. We'll have more details on that. I just want to give a shout out to Andreescu, the young girl from Mississauga.
Yeah. What's she do now?
She won a tournament. Her first.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding.
It's her first WTA tournament. Knocked off an American kid named Jessica Pagula in 3 sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bianca Andreescu from Mississauga. She lost the first set, and then she won the next 2 sets. Came back to win her first WTA. She is now the top-ranked women's tennis player in the country. And way to go! All right, next segment is NFL. All right, the Greeks picks.
Greeks picks are a little bit in the last little while. When you were away last week, Greek dipped his toe into the NBA waters, and I kind of had this premonition that Houston would beat the Sixers.
Right.
Houston lost by 30 anyway. Point of them, whatever. Greeks 7-6-1. Predictions to follow. Super Bowl time. Greek looks at it like this. If you take a look at that roster, Swiss, 52-man NFL roster. Plus you throw in a head coach, that's 53. You can legitimately make the case that the Rams are stronger in 51 out of the 53 spots on that field. The only 2 where you got to scratch your head,
quarterback.
Coach, quarterback, coach, quarterback. You look at that Rams front 4, you look at the secondary, you look at the receivers, the running backs. You know what? On paper, games are not played on paper, that's a mismatch. That's a mismatch on paper, but you put that Snake Brady, right? That never wants to get. I seen that guy on TV. That guy's 40 years old. That guy looks like he's 20 still, man. He's got that pretty boy face.
Well, everybody keeps saying it. Is this the week that Brady does?
And it never
falls off and finally shows his age. No,
and it never happens. But you know
it
what?
happened with Peyton Manning, but it does not happen with
No,
Peyton.
it looks like, and you know, a lot of it's got to be attributed to old Hoodie over there in the schematics and the way. Yeah, absolutely, the way what he did to Kansas City in terms of of outsmarting and pulling the wool over Andy Reid's eyes in the first half with the way he shut down that offense. You know, he bought a little time for that defense. You know, nobody had stopped Kansas City all year. This guy goes into Arrowhead and runs the ball for 23 minutes. 3 possessions, and Mahomes is watching like a tourist on the sidelines, right? Yeah. So this guy's not a dumb. Belichick's not a dummy. He's got something in store. But again, man for man, I expect the Rams to come out big. And again, for me, it's contingent on what kind of Todd Gurley shows up against that New England defense. If the Gurley if a healthy Gurley shows up, I see him as the MVP, and I see him going off for 150, 160 yards. But again, is he healthy? What's his frame of mind? I don't know, right? But again, the Rams, in terms of talent,
they should win. But if Joe off the street walks in and he says, "Okay, I've heard of Tom Brady. I've never heard of Jared Goff. I like the Patriots."
Yeah, and that's why again Vegas set the Patriots open up as 2.5-point favorites, which many would argue is a ridiculous line. It should be 2.5 or maybe even more the other way.
Yeah.
Here's what I noticed about Jared Goff, and I was a skeptic of Goff from the middle of the season to the playoffs till about right now. Jared Goff, 2 specific drives, down 2010 in New Orleans. 2010 drives the team down the other way, and this is hostile territory, Superdome.
Right.
You don't score on that drive, the game's over. 2010 drives them down, 2017 back in the game. Down a field goal late, he drives them back. So for me, if he can answer
there was a little bit of a pass interference.
Yeah, but that's not on Jared Goff. That's not on Jared Goff. And as we mentioned we spoke about this with Claude last week. If Peyton doesn't run the ball if Peyton doesn't throw the incompletion on first down to force McVay to call timeouts, that game takes a different shape.
Yeah.
They run down the clock. They force the Rams to take their timeouts. They only had 2 under the 2-minute warning, so that's a coaching mistake. Peyton wants to say the pass interference call. Frankly, I enjoy the fact that there's no call. I want the game to be decided on the field. And Peyton, you paid for that mistake. So quit crying, New Orleans fans. Quit crying. you made a wrong play, whether it was pass interference or I don't want that play to be called. Even if I'm on the same side, I like the players to decide the game.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, whatever the case is. You want to take the human element.
Yeah.
You want to review everything and anything, and you know that's just the better team won the game. So whatever the case is, right?
Now, before we go, I just want to mention that this segment is brought to you by Wealth Realized Financial Services. Visit Mike Hopkins at wealthrealized.ca for all your financial needs. I got an email from Bet Line. All right, and an email. Yeah, they send me emails with their
What did
their latest odds for the NHL, NFL.
Okay, all right.
And here's some of the Super Bowl 53 props. Okay, these are prop bets.
Yeah.
You don't have to just bet on win or lose, over under, that type of thing. You can bet a lot of different things. Here's some of the props that they came up with. Okay, how long is it going to take for Gladys Knight to sing the anthem?
Yeah.
1 minute and 50 seconds is the over and under on that one. Okay,
It'd be
and
nice.
there's also, you can bet whether she brings one of the Pips along to it.
It'd be nice if you were Gladys's friend. You had a little inside info. Hey, Gladys, speed it up. Give me 147 so I can put a couple of dimes on you.
Here's even another one you can do. Okay, if she skips a word, that's a plus 300 bet. If she skips a word in the national anthem.
Okay.
What color will Adam Levine wear in the halftime show?
Right.
What color shoes will he wear?
Okay.
White is 6 to 5. The 6 to 5 is a choice. White is 6 to 5.
How about
Black
blues?
3 to 1.
What are the blues?
Purple is 20 to 1.
20 to 1. How about other? How about
Pink
the field?
is 25 to 1.
How about the field?
Probably bet the field. I didn't look that one up, but
All
I'm
right.
sure. Will the greatest of all time phrase be used? Okay, that's even money.
What, in the broadcast?
In the broadcast.
Oh, without a
Greatest
doubt.
of all time.
No, without a doubt.
That's even money. The
Without a doubt.
over-under on that was.
Who are they going to be talking about? Us or who?
Well, Tom Brady with the
Well, yeah,
shift,
all right,
whatever.
yeah.
That's gonna be. How many times will Giselle Bundchen be shown on the broadcast?
I don't.
The over and under is 1.5.
No,
That's,
when's the last time you seen her?
no, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't.
It's a big game, right?
Yeah,
So-
they might give her a little.
By the way, for those who don't know, that's Tom Brady's
Yeah.
wife. Will there be a streaker during the game?
You can. You
The
know.
odds
You
of that
want
are
to
plus
catch
2,000.
plus 2,000.
2,000.
So in other words, all right, hold on now, man. You want to make a little bit of cash, eh?
Yeah.
So plus 2,000. So a guy goes to the book, bets 10 dimes, and then ends up in the clink for 3 days.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Eh? Those are funny
But
bets.
you can also bet on who's going to tackle him.
You can really.
Police, security,
Yeah.
or one of the players. You can even bet on which player would be the tackle. Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Gronk's going to get him. And those are some of the interesting prop bets that we're going to get for Super Bowl. So do you feel like you have, you're leaning towards...
I'm leaning towards.
I know you said the Rams, 51
Yeah.
out of 53.
I'm leaning towards the Rams, and again,
Maybe because of the points, too. I mean, geez.
two and a
Team that's
if-
good, good is a
if
a
you're
2.5
telling me,
underdog?
if I smelled 3.5, I would have picked that already, right? So
Yeah.
so again, I'm leaning towards the Rams. We'll have some predictions. We'll do a little segment later this week and have official predictions, and not only from myself, but you kind of know your way around this game, so you can have a prediction from you too.
Yeah.
You
We'll
know,
do it later in the
hopefully we
week,
can go like. Hopefully you have the courage to represent
Right.
the older guys and maybe take Brady and Belichick one more time, right? We'll see. We'll have that on Monday. Before we get going, Joe.
You're trying to shuffle that off of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we get going, a special shout out this week. We come on here. We talk about pro sports. We talk about Leafs, Raptors, all that kind of stuff, right? But in the world of sports is much bigger than the professional sports. There's men and women within each and every community, both in terms of hockey, baseball, that take a lifetime to volunteer their souls, their hearts, their efforts in terms of shaping our youth, teaching them not only about the beauty of hockey, baseball, and sport in general, but just kind of raising
You're
youth.
talking about the volunteer coach.
Yeah. So
Volunteers,
yeah, absolutely beautiful, and we don't get a chance to mention. So I'd like to take this opportunity to give a shout out to Mr. Stephen Campbell, longtime volunteer at East Shore Baseball. He's gradually found his way into retirement. Right. He's been doing this for a long time. Coach Campbell, you're the kind of guy that nobody I've ever met, Joe's ever had a bad thing to say about him. He empowers people. He includes people. He's a class act, and he's greatly appreciated by the entirety of the community, the baseball community, the OBA baseball community, people that he's worked with in hockey. He's been doing this for 30 years. Never took a penny. right? And you know why he does this? Just for the love, man. So Coach Campbell, we love you, and support your local sports teams.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Go get him, buddy. All right, that does this edition of the Tilley and Billy Show. I'm Joe the Swiss Tilley.
Go to the Greek. Take good
See you
care.
soon.
Yep. Thank you.